Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission. I am a 15-year online reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and I'm also a Whatnot live seller. And today and most Mondays, I do a Ship With Me 2-day weekend what sold video. And that is where I will share with you exactly the items that sold in my shop and tell you a little bit about them, like the description or a title and what they sold for. And my weekend was good. I hope you guys are doing well as well. Check in. Let me know how your sales are doing. It is March. Woo! This year is going by quick, I feel like. So this 2-day what sold is from Saturday and Sunday, which was February 28th and March 1st. Now, my eBay is pretty steady at the moment. Fingers crossed. And my Poshmark had some good sales, including a bundle, a $100 bundle, which is fun. I haven't gotten a bundle on Poshmark in a long time. And then Depop, I had nothing, which has been 2 weekends in a row now. But it's so quick for me to cross-post onto Nifty that it's no big deal. I still have been having sales, just not all the time. So let's go over the numbers. I also had a Whatnot show, and I will share those numbers as well. eBay, I have 11 sales from the weekend to go out, and the total number of sales for those 11 sales on eBay is $372.76. My Poshmark, I had 5 sales, but that included a 4-piece bundle, which is amazing. So my total for the weekend on Poshmark is $172, and then Depop had nothing. So for the weekend, for Saturday and Sunday, 2 days, I sold $544.76. So that's pretty solid for me. I still would like to increase that a little bit, but I am happy with that. That's pretty consistent over the last 2 weekends. It's been around the same amount in that $500 to $600 range for the weekend. So I think that's pretty good. And then I had a Whatnot show, you guys. You're like, stop yelling, Kimmy. I had a very exciting Whatnot show. If you follow me on my other social medias, I've already kind of been talking about it. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's kind of funny and really fun, honestly. But I ran for 2.5 hours. And I've been having intermittent internet issues. And I'm really thankful that the internet held on while a key moment of my life happened. An exciting moment in my Whatnot show happened. Luckily, the internet was working at that point because by the time my show was ending, I still had people in the show, but my internet was freezing again. So either way, it was a great show, you guys. I'm really happy with these numbers, and Whatnot has been a little more consistent and solid for me, and I'm really happy to report back. As most of you know, it has been a roller coaster, but it's feeling a little bit better. So that is good news. So Whatnot, 2.5 hours. So, under 3 hours, I sold $653 in merchandise. And I feel like that's really good. Like, if I just always did that, I feel like I would be happy with it. So less than 3 hours, I sold $653 in items. And I did $544 in the weekend from my other platforms. For a total for the weekend as a reseller, what did I sell on all 4 platforms? Total was $1,197.76 in sales between all 4 of my platforms. And of course, Whatnot takes up a lot of time. I ran for 2.5 hours. So, that's a pretty big piece of the puzzle there. $1,197.76. And if you're wondering, I'm going to talk about what happened in my Whatnot show here in a minute, but also I'm going to put in a clip at the end of this that shares that moment with you so you can experience it as well. It's really funny. And last week and this week now, I'm going to put in a screen share, a computer screen share, where I'm sharing with you exactly the items that sold for me, and showing you like the listing itself from the computer. So if you like to see that kind of information as well, stick around for the end and you'll be able to see the exact items like right from my computer. And some of you really like that because I can zoom in on the logos. I can show you the descriptions. I can show you a little bit clearer the item. So if you want to learn more and kind of see what we have going on there, stick around to the end for that. I had a great bundle, and I've also had some very solid sales. I've been saying a lot lately that, you know, some higher price sales are keeping me within some of my goals without selling as much quantity. eBay, I don't know what's happening. Comment below, my friends, what platform is doing best for you? We talked about it this morning in my Whatnot. I do a Monday, noon Central Time, Whatnot live show of seller support Q&A. And we were talking about the different platforms and how they're doing for us. And a lot of people were saying eBay is not great for them. And how grateful we are for tools like My Tools Nifty for being on other platforms. So tell me, what is working for you? This is a vintage Y2K Bad Kitty tee. I love this. I thought this was so cute. I love the lace-up ties. Bad Kitty punk rock tank top cat made in the USA rocker. This is total rocker, babe. Like if I had the body for this, if I liked tacos a little bit less, I would totally rock this. I think it's super cute. Love the lace-up sides. This sold for $20 on an offer. I had it listed for $30 and accepted an offer. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more, but that is okay. Move it and move on with it. Bad Kitty Y2K lace-up top punk rock rocker. $20 plus shipping. And I think it's super cute, so I hope this person loves it. Let's get it weighed and get it out the door. Going out to Utah. Yeah, I had, I do every Monday, I do Whatnot too. So my Mondays are pretty busy. Usually Mondays I'm up until midnight, getting everything done between the shipping and the videos and the Whatnot lives. But it's fun. I'm always very busy on Mondays. $5.96 going out to Utah. This only weighed 5 ounces. This little kitty, Bad Kitty little top. I think it's super cute. I have a $45 sale. I have some bread and butters. I have the $100 bundle. I haven't had a bundle on Poshmark in a while, so I was very thankful for that. Like I said, y'all check in. Guys, some of you were in my Whatnot show when this thing happened. I just don't want to bore you guys too soon with my stories. Because, you know, I'm always babbling some kind of random thing. Let's get to some sales first. Let's get to this good one, huh? Ooh, look at these. Oh, this too. You'll be surprised that these sold within a month. And I honestly was shocked. It's Ann Taylor Loft, women's size 4, corduroy bootcut pant. Preppy office. Now, I don't do a ton in this brand. I picked them up because they were bootcut and they're corduroy. I put them in my Whatnot show. They didn't really, there wasn't a lot of interest. So when my items are sitting in Whatnot for a while, if I've ran them 2, 3, 4 times, I make a decision. I either run it for a lower amount or I move it over to my eBay. And I move this over to eBay. These Loft corduroy pants in a small size 4, sold for $23.25 in a month. That's a quick turnaround and a very solid bread and butter for a brand I pass on a lot, honestly, and it's a smaller size. So I think that's great. She did ask if they were high rise or more of a low or mid rise, and these are a mid rise. She did not want the high rise, or so it seemed. You know, trends are always changing. I do try to pay attention to those things. For the Y2K babes, low rise is back. So we got to follow all these things. We always have to know what's happening. So Ann Taylor Loft corduroy pants, $23.25 plus shipping. Very solid bread and butter for me going out to California. They're only 12 ounces and I got them at the bins. So that's a very solid bread and butter. You know, 12 ounces with packaging is about $1.10 for me to purchase from the bins, and it sold for $23 plus ship. That is an excellent bread and butter. $6.43 to get this out to California because it's so light. Only 12 ounces. You know, if this was a pound or more, it would have definitely been more expensive. So, hey, and you know what? Corduroy is typically more of a fall material. So, I guess though gray is a nice neutral, minimalist, you know, closet staple. So that may have also played a role in the sale. Kind of surprised me it moved so quickly. Very happy with that. All right, let's get to another one. This is a fantastic sale. Peter Millar. I'm going to tell you why I think this sold for what it did. Peter Millar Pullover Crown Sport The Forge 1/4 zip performance in a 3XL. There's your tag, Peter Millar. There's his crown on the back. Now this was a 1/4 zip pullover. You're going to get more for pullovers and sweatshirts than you are t-shirts or long sleeves for the most part. This was a performance polyester moisture wicking material, and it's a men's 3XL. And this sold in a month. I got a ton of offers on it, and the solds were in the 45 range. And I was getting $30 offers, $25 offers. But I was willing to wait because it hadn't been listed very long. This sold in less than a month for $45. I found it at the bins. Sometimes I do hear my t-shirt bros say that they don't like picking up large sizes. No, bro, that's too big. Nah, brah. Nah, brah. What? Who's a 3XL? Ooh. That was a little snobby of me, wasn't it? I just hear them talk. And I guess being a plus size person and having plus size people in my family, you know, it is what it is. You know, there's people who don't like big people. I get it. But they're always like, I don't know. Maybe that was a little snobby of me. But I'm always like, why are you picking on us big people? You know? Why do you do that? Just hurts my heart a little bit. Big people need clothes too, y'all. In fact, we need more to cover our big bodies. So I hear them say that a lot. Oh, no, nah, bro, that's too big. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. Well, this sold in a month, 3XL for $45, and I feel like that's very solid. It is almost exactly a pound, 15.3 ounces. So I paid $1.59 for this Peter Millar. And it's going out to Florida for $8.46. $8.46, because it is a pound. Once you hit that pound mark for shipping, especially on eBay, then the cost bumps up a little bit. Yeah, honestly, I can't tell you how many times I've heard them say stuff about, like, they'll pick up something and then be like, whoa, look how big this is. And I'm like standing right there, my giant body. Oh well, it's a great flip. And I love representing all sizes. That's just me. So let's get a sticker off. Put my little sticker, thank you stickers on my packages. And that was a fantastic flip. That, you know, is goals. If I could take a $1.59 item and flip it to 45 in a month all the time, that is goals. That would be fantastic. This also sold very quickly. Let's share this one with you. This is a brand you guys, you know, should know as well. And it sold, the tag was falling off a little bit. And I took pictures and I put that in my listing. Driftwood. Love this brand. Always does well for me. Size 27. So again, a smaller size. But they specialize in these. Look at that. Ooh, so pretty. You guys know I love a good floral. I love a good boho. A little embroidery. These sold quick. I accepted an offer for $30.01 plus shipping. I believe they did that because the shipping was $7.99. So their total came out to $38. Driftwood, the Jackie embroidered floral skinny jean, size 27. A great flip, another item I picked up at the bins. We'll get her weighed here. $30 plus shipping. Another fantastic sale. Very happy with that. Where is it going out to, huh? Let's see. Pennsylvania. Putting them in my pretty spring mailers. Happy to have these. So bright and cheerful. It snowed this weekend in Wisconsin. But I know spring's coming. It's coming. I can feel it. Sometime. Sometime is it coming. Hopefully soon. I have my hair down. And I always mess with it. That's why I always put it in a bun. $6.51 to get this out to Pennsylvania. Very cute. Although I heard there's going to be some snow. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, that area. It's going to rain here. So we must be getting lucky and missing the snow. The second round of snow. It didn't snow a lot on Saturday, but it was enough to cover the roads. All right. What else do we have? What else do we have? Ooh, this is a fantastic sale. I posted on my socials about this. I had never heard of this brand before. Nettle Studios. High-rise, wide leg pant in the blue linen. Size 2XL. Lag and look. Boho. Here's the tag for you. And it's like a very small, kind of tight tag. Nettle Studios. And it said, proudly made in San Francisco. Now, wide leg is in. It's linen season. I wasn't sure about the blue, but see this nice wide leg? Turns out this brand, this sold overnight. Not even joking. There were not a lot of comps. So I was hemming and hawing. I was like, oh, what do I list it for? Because I don't want it to sit. But I also want to make sure I, get an appropriate amount of money for the value. If you go on their website, Nettle Studios, their pants sell for $150 to $200. But if you look at comps on eBay, there's not a whole lot to look at. There really isn't. So I was unsure. And I posted on my Facebook and stuff that sometimes trust your gut. It's a linen material. It was a 2XL. It was wide leg, which is trending. We're going into beach season, spring and summer, where people wear wide leg linen pants. And being that the items on their website sold for so much, I thought, I'm going to risk it. I listed them Friday night, and they sold Saturday, or they listed Friday night. I listed them Friday night. They sold Saturday morning. $49 full price. Didn't even make an offer or nothing. They bought them outright. Plus shipping. Going to Kansas. They weigh 1 pound 3 ounces. So I paid about $1.80 for these. Just under $2. And they sold for $49 plus shipping in a day. What? That is insane. So, keep an eye out for just linen pants. From now until probably June or July, they will sell, especially 100% linen, bigger sizes, and wide legs will be a hot ticket. People going on trips and also just summer in general. Linen is a lightweight, breathable material that people really like to wear. So that's another fantastic flip. And even in my Whatnot shows, people are asking for wide legs. But you know what? We also discussed some people still like skinnies. So I'm trying to represent as many styles as possible. And some people were specifically asked, do you have any skinny leg or leggings in my Whatnot show? I need a bigger area for my Whatnot show so I could have more items available. I can only hang so many items in my small, it's like 10 by 10, you know. I don't know. I would have to like, I don't have any more space. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. Here's my girl Eileen. Where is this one at? Here it is. Eileen Fisher plus size 2X 100% tank top. This only sold for $21 plus shipping. Nifty sent out an offer that they accepted on it. Now, I think because it's just a plain tank top. It's a plain tank top. There's no embroidery, there's no print, there's no sleeves. It's a pretty basic item. And so I would say for the most part with Eileen, that's what you're gonna get with a more basic item. Still, Eileen Fisher is still a solid bread and butter for me. I will continue to pick it up, especially in good materials. And, you know, I love Eileen. 100% silk, $21.79. Look at this. This says the town is called Happy Valley. That sounds nice. Oregon. I'd like to live in a town that's Happy Valley. 6 ounces, so very lightweight. 6 ounces, which silk normally is. I just picked up a few other silk items from the bins, and they weigh, you know, this weighs 6 ounces. $5.62 going to Happy Valley, Oregon. I've never heard of that town, but it sounds real nice. All right. I have a couple swim pieces too. So here's another reminder. If you have any summer swim items, the linens, the tankinis, the swim tops, it's time to start pulling them out, you guys, and getting them listed. I'm even going to be adding in some linens and tank tops to my Whatnot shows starting now, like in March here. People will be going on trips and stuff. And people are thinking about spring and summer. They're wanting some new things for their wardrobe. Swimsuits for all. I normally do really well in this brand, but I think the print was like maybe too much. I accepted an offer of $10. Swimsuits for all, plus size 20, bright multicolor tankini top. All you need is a black bottom for this, you know, or any solid blue. In an effort to continue to move things along, I accepted their offer. And now the item has a new home. I do think maybe it was just the print is a little bit bolder, but I don't know. It's a summer print. It's a beach print with these bright colors. And with my tankini tops, I do try to pick out a color or styles that you could pair with your own bottom at home. If I don't have like the set, right? So this would be easily paired with black. So going out to Iowa, $10 plus shipping. Just an okay. Swim tankinis are expensive, like $60, $70, $80. So, oh well, she's going to a new home. $5.71 to get it out to Iowa. And I thought there was another one. Yeah, I do have another one here. Oh, I actually got 2 bundles on Poshmark. And this other one, you know, was just an okay sale, but it was J brand jeans. I'll share with you guys that one next. This brand I used to do well with, I would say 5 years ago. I feel like there's another brand, jean brand, that I used to do really well with. And J brand was one of them. And then it, just like a lot of things, it kind of just died off. You know, that's why we always have to keep track of what's doing well, what's not doing well. J brand, 2 pairs of jeans. This sold on Poshmark in a bundle. They were both size 25 though, and that's a pretty small size. There's J brand. I used to this was a solid bread and butter jean for me 5 years ago. J brand. Also, Jag jeans, JAG, were a pretty solid sale for me as well. There's a couple of jeans that like used to be so good and now they're not. Will I pick up J brand? No. an exception if it was a larger size, new with tags, maybe like a flare or wide leg. I honestly have not even seen this brand in a long time. So sometimes that happens to brands, you know. They have their moments and then some of them disappear forever and you don't really hear a lot about them. So in the bundle, they offered $15 for the 2 jeans, and they have been sitting for me for a while. They're a skinny leg and they're a small size. I said, no problem. Bye. She gone. Get them going. And would I pick these up again today? If I was at the bins and I saw J brand size 25 skinnies, no, I wouldn't. I'd pass. Small size. Brand is dying or maybe dead, and it's a skinny leg. Oh well, I still rock skinnies. I'm not hating on them, but this did not do very well for me. So she gone though, and I'm happy that they are moved on to a new home. All right, this is the other swim item I have. Now this brand is expensive in plus sizes. Cacique, Cacique. I've sold this brand for a decade. Cacique. This is a 42 triple D tankini swim top with an underwire built-in bra. I think this is so cute. Again, though, this is just the top, so you'd have to have your bottom. I think you could pair this with a black bottom. Otherwise, obviously, some kind of blue or orange. It sold for $18 on an offer. You know, my sales have been kind of a roller coaster still, so I've been more open to offers, getting things moving, especially if they're over like 6 months. I have a lot of long tail items, but with sales being the way that they have been, kind of an up and down roller coaster, I am open to more offers just to keep things moving. Keep it moving. So again, this was on Poshmark. Swimwear has always been one of my favorite things to sell. So we'll see how it does this season for me. Going to Missouri. And that was a really nice quality. Cacique swim tankini tops are, again, very expensive. So we've also been discussing about how we think like when I do these lives on Monday on Whatnot, or just in the comments we've talked about it, or on my socials. So we, as in all my friends, you guys are my friends, my internet friends, about is Whatnot changing that landscape? We've talked about it a little bit, you know, and I'm just wondering if people are picking up things on Whatnot for $7 and they're not going to eBay as much and paying $15. You know, I don't know. I don't have the answer yet, but it has been something we have thought about. We've talked about our community here, and I'd love to hear your input. Now, this is one of the items I bought off of Whatnot from that young gentleman who was selling items for $1. I bought from him twice, and this was one of them. It's a PBR professional bull rider's top, and it was new with tags. And he had a couple. He said he'd sell them all to me for $1 a piece. So I've only had this maybe 3 months. And it sold for $18 plus ship on Poshmark. And I paid $1 on Whatnot for it. And a lot of people are also sourcing on Whatnot. I have several people who come to my Whatnot shows and source to resell. It's true. And I've heard other people say that they source on Whatnot. Ooh, the landscape is changing. The way that the reselling business is always changing, but we're definitely, I feel like we're living in a moment where that, you know, our strategies and the way that we sell is changing. I will say, I'm going to go on record here that I do think live selling is going to be a big piece of that puzzle for maybe a couple years at least. Will it change again? Will people get tired of the live selling? Maybe. I don't know. But right now, I think it's a big piece of the puzzle. And although it's been a rough road for me at times, I'm happy that I've been doing it. I mean, hey, I sold $653 in items in less than 3 hours. Yes, it's the fast nickel compared to a slower dime, but I think that kind of speaks for itself. So something to think about. All right. Kim, quiet. Here's another corduroy pant. Are corduroy pants a things in spring as well and not just fall? Or is it because of the colors? These are like neutral colors. This is a Ralph Lauren corduroy pull-on pant in a skinny leg. I don't know. In a corduroy with a stretch band. Ralph Lauren. Skinny leg, kind of closet staple, you know. I actually have another skinny leg I'm shipping out. So that's like 4 skinny legs I'm shipping out today. These sold for $20 plus shipping. Just a bread and butter. Skinny leg, Ralph Lauren, stretch corduroy pull-on pant. Is that telling us something? Should we be paying attention to that? Why is there so many skinnies going out of my shop today? I mean, $20 is a solid bread and butter. It was Ralph Lauren, but it was a size small. So, you know, that's interesting to me. $20 plus ship. And this is going to Maryland. Let's get her weighed. 11 ounces. 0, 11. $5.89 out to Maryland. Yeah, and every platform basically has live selling now, right? TikTok, Poshmark, eBay, whatnot. It's a movement. I think, you know, I've got to keep going with it. This is my job. I've got to take it seriously. This is what I do. And if that's where everybody's going to, then that's what I have to do. All right. Here's this other skinny leg. Now, this one sat a while. Lily Pulitzer. Lily Pulitzer. What's going to do better for you in Lily Pulitzer is her very classic bright colored tops or bottoms. Mostly shorts do really well for me. I actually sold one of her pieces, a Luxe Letic top, in my show for $9 on Whatnot. And I do believe my good friend Nardi Party, Russo Resells, go check her out, is going to resell it. They resell for about $30 to $40. I know, I can see the comments now. Kimmy, why would you sell it on a Whatnot for $9 if you could sell it on eBay for $30? It's a good question, my friends, and something I have continued to struggle with at times. I want to offer good quality items. I'm also moving the items very quickly. That Luxe Letic that I found from Lily Pulitzer, I got it at the bins 2 trips ago, and it's already gone. And I've made $7 on it, and it's, you know, very quickly. Nobody yell at me. It's been hard making some of these decisions on what to put where at times. Anyways, this Lily Pulitzer skinny pull-on ankle pant in an extra small sold for $11. And I do think size and style played a role in this item. For 13 ounces here to New Jersey for $6.87. 87, my friends. Yeah, I'd love to hear your input. Try to be kind to me. It's really hard for me to sometimes decide where to put things because I sold it quick. I flip a lot of inventory quickly. And part of my Whatnot strategy lately has been to preload items like that Lily Pulitzer and start it higher so I know at least I get 9. I'm not starting things at $1 unless it's been sitting for a while or it's really lightweight or whatever. I'm not, you know, these nicer items, like when I have a Lululemon, I preloaded a Lululemon the other day and it went for $12. I found it at the bins, it was like 25 cents. Sold quickly. So that's been my strategy lately. Let's do this Eliza Star. I found this at the bins. This is just a boutique. I don't think I would pick this up again. It really doesn't retail for a whole lot, but I thought it was cute for spring. It didn't sit that long. It was probably about 6 months. Look at the colors. It's very pretty. It's a unique piece. It's a 2-piece set of a skirt and a top, and they sold on Poshmark for $22 plus shipping. I got them at the bins. Woo! All these bags. All right, who knows what happened to me this weekend on Whatnot? Who knows? If you follow me on socials or you watch the show, you know. Yeah, my life is complete. You know, when I first started all this YouTube and social media, you know, I've been doing this a long time. And, you know, guys, most of you know I quit doing YouTubes a couple times before I actually got the page going. It's not easy. And I got nervous, and people are mean, and all kinds of different things of reasons why, you know, people decide not to do social medias and YouTubes. But some of these moments are going to be things that I'm talking about for the rest of my life. So I think that's awesome, because there have been moments that are, you know, are huge. I'm a reseller. I've been reselling for a long time. I've been following YouTubers for a long time. One time in my Whatnot chat, K-Way Shops came in. And started talking to us, and he has, like, you know, I don't even know how many followers, 50,000, 100,000 followers. And then what happened on Saturday, literally I almost passed out. I got a raid in Whatnot. When you're done with your show, anybody who's still hanging out in your show, you can move them to another. You choose who you move your show into, and then you're just helping someone else get a couple extra people on their show. You want to know who rated me? All of a sudden, my numbers, all of a sudden, this Whatnot, you see all these people join. Boop, boop, boop. All these people join in your show. I'm like, oh my God, I got a raid. Awesome. Who's rating me? The Ginger Marvin rated my Whatnot show, my friends. Live on camera, my reaction. I'm going to put it at the end of this video so you guys can see it. Because Whatnot provides video receipts. The whole thing's recorded. That's how they do receipts on Whatnot, because you're live. Yeah. Ginger Marvin rated my show with like 50-something people. I went from like 25 people to 75, 80 people in a matter of a moment, and I almost passed out fangirling and with nervousness. And she was in my show, and she talked to me. Ginger Marvin talked to me. I think her page has like 40,000 followers. I've been following her for years, though. You know, she is from Colorado, and she's just very down to earth. Her business model is, she has many avenues of selling, but she keeps it simple. You know, I feel like my page, I want everyone to encourage everyone to run their business how they see fit, as long as, especially, it's profitable, right? Ginger Marvin has a lot of avenues that she sells, and her business is changing due to Whatnot as well. Just commenting on that. Her business is changing big because of Whatnot. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I watch some people and I get envy. I'm envious, and Miss KD has always told me, she's someone who comments on my page. This is where I lose everyone. Everyone's like, Kimmy's babbling. I'm going to get mean comments. Has always said comparison is the thief of joy. But I watch some of these other YouTubers who are like, and I've seen the comment. I've literally gotten comments who've said, I wouldn't waste my time with a $20 sale. Okay, I get it. I know time is money. But my business has almost always been based on bread and butter, basic sales. $15, $20 sales over and over and over again. So it's hard not to compare yourself to some of these big people. I only sell things that move in 30 days, and if they're $100 sales, which I'm honestly happy for them. That's fantastic. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't run a business based off of what I see in my area, what I find in my area. Like, my business is different. Long story short, I've been following Ginger Marvin. Her name is Kathy and Chris out in Colorado for a long time because they help keep me grounded. She sells things all the time for $18. Boop, okay. She's good with it. She paid $1. She sold it for $18. And that's good. She makes a full-time living selling bread and butter items. So I've always loved following her because she makes me feel normal. And she doesn't make me feel, when I watch her stuff, she doesn't make me feel like I'm not good enough. And that's a me problem. Like, these other people aren't trying to make me feel bad. But, so it's a me problem. But she's just down to earth. She's just a simple person, just like me and you. And to have her rate into me, I almost fainted. You guys watch, I'll put the clip at the end. You can see my genuine, this is how I reacted live on camera in front of 80 people. Oh, goodness. All right, so this is, hey. And then I forgot to sell things. People were like, Kimmy, you're supposed to be selling things. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I got distracted. What a blessing. So this is a 4-piece bundle. This person picked out really nice items. 2 items are 100% silk and 2 items are 100% wool. Obviously, they have very good taste. Now, it's a little bit less than I wanted, but it was a bundle of 4 items. We settled on $100 plus shipping for the 4 items. Elizabeth and James, this was 100% silk. This is a black label Ralph Lauren. If you don't know, black label Ralph Lauren is a higher premium, 100% silk. I found this at the bins. And then 2 merino wools, J. Crew, real J. Crew, and a brand I had never heard of before, but the comps were really great. The White Company. Very high quality items. They, like I said, they have really good taste. I could have maybe waited out for more, but at the grand scheme of things, I got all these things from the bins. Let's weigh them. We settled on $100 plus shipping. Let's see how much I paid for all of these. This is more of a sweater, so it's a little bit heavier. Not even 2 pounds. It's 1 pound, 12 ounces. So I paid about $3. Oh my gosh. And granted, a black label Ralph Lauren is worth a lot of money. Wools, silks usually bring in more money. But weighing this right here, 1 pound, 12 ounces, I pay $1.59 per pound at my bins. So I paid about $3 for all of this. And I sold it for $100 plus shipping. My earnings are $80. That's after fees. So after my cost of goods, I took $3 worth of items and I profited $77. Each of these, so $100 total, I was essentially saying each one was going to sell for $25 a piece, right? For $100. Very nice quality items. I think that's great. And now even weighing them, knowing my cost, even less than I thought. You know, they're nice items. J. Crew, 100% wool, 100% silk, black label Ralph Lauren. So it's a Poshmark order. I'm putting it in a shoebox, but I'm using my poly mailer to line the box and just putting each one into the box. And then topping it with one of my business cards like so. And I just close her up. And the shoebox works great for these 4 items. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that. I think that's great. You guys, you know, I always encourage you all to do, as long as you know you're making profit, you know, that's my biggest thing. Sometimes I think people, you know, we have to make sure after cost of goods and fees, we are making money. That's our job, you know. And do I make money on everything? No, because I'm a dummy and pick up stuff that doesn't move sometimes. That's just part of the business. You know, but we want to make sure we're making money. So my cost of goods is per pound there. After fees, you know, I'm making a very solid profit off of these items. Going out to Colorado. All right, a couple last things here, and then we'll get to the solds also. So remember, there's going to be a clip at the end, and then I'm going to share screenshots with you. These are Ricas. They did not do very well. They're a small size. They are a size 6 gray and blue sneaker. They're in good condition. Cute little sneakers. These sold, there's a little fuzzy or something on them, for $15. Small size. The brand doesn't really sell for a whole lot. I thought they were cute. And then this was a great sale. I picked this up within the last month. So again, a lot of sales I'm very happy with that have sold recently that I only picked up a little bit ago. Look at how beautiful these are. Woo! Now the problem is they did have signs of wear. See the wear on the toe, that's very common for cowboy boots. So I made sure to take good pictures. I commented, you know, on all of the stuff and said, there are signs of wear, there are scratches. But look at this embroidery. If I could find this in a women's size 12, I would rock these all the time. I think they're just stunning. I'm a boho. I love a little boho and embroidery. These sold, I found them at the bins. I think someone left them behind because of condition. You know, there's just some normal scuffs. See that? But look how pretty this is. So these are less than 2 pounds, £1.15. So again, this cost me $3. They sold in less than a month for $29 plus shipping. If you find any type of cowboy boot that has this floral embroidery or some heavy stitching, sometimes they'll have like crosses or wings or, you know, like kind of that rocker babe look. You might want to look them up, honestly. Now, a lot of times at my bins, well, the shoes are really hard. There's always a mad dash for shoes. People sit in chairs and wait for my shoes to switch. But also at regular Goodwills, a lot of cowboy boots mine are priced $15, $20, $25. So it's not always likely that I have any cowboy boots to flip. Where might I? Maybe a garage sale or church sale. Like I said, these from the bins, most of the time the boots are taken. I think they were just left behind because of the condition. So, all right, so we use the shoebox here. They're pretty small, so I'm gonna need some paper. Size 6 is a pretty small. I know my friend Rachel has teeny feet. So there's a lot of room. You know, you need some paper. Let me find some paper. I've mentioned before that I reuse like my Aldi bags. I get these when I do Aldi pickups, and instead of putting them in the recycling, which is what I would normally do with cardboard or paper, is I use anything like this to pad my orders. Any kind of cardboard I keep, any extra boxes. I always have 2 tape guns. They were sticking together, boy. And then we'll get a box for these cowboy boots, cowgirl boots. I don't think those will fit in a regular shoebox, but we'll see. Maybe they will. Going to Delaware. That cannot be right. All right, when am I gonna ship these in? Like no, see, they're too wide for this. So I'm gonna have to get a different type of box for the cowboy boots, and then we're done. And then we can do the clip from my Whatnot show, and oh, these are the Ricas. Yeah, never mind. That is right. I was thinking we weighed the cowgirl boots a couple minutes ago. I was thinking that sounds like not the right size. Okay. And then we'll get a different box and I'll share with you. And I'm on my way to the post office. I still have my Whatnot show to, I'll get some of it out today, but not all of it. The rest of it will go out tomorrow. Mondays are just so busy for me. And I now have, my boys have switched seasons as far as activities go. And now like my time is a little bit less because I have to go and pick one up, bring one the other place where all my parents at, or even grandparents who help with all the rides. There's just always somewhere to go and somewhere to bring somewhere. And this box is going to work perfectly. It's actually a Kohl's box. So remember, if there's any labels on your stuff, not the Kohl's part, but any like tracking labels, make sure you write over it with a big marker so it doesn't mess up your tracking or anything. You want to remove them and or like put another label over it is what I'm going to do. But this box ends up working out really nicely. Look at that. So these cowboy boots will get there safely. I'll put a little bit of paper on it and my business card, and look how nice that looks. Fits perfect in this box. That's why I save all my boxes. So I write over like my old label. I know sometimes I do I do things overkill. So I wrote over the label part that I couldn't rip off and I wasn't going to ruin the box or anything. I put a plain one over it, and then when I print out the label, I'll put it over this. So there's no like, you know, you want to make sure you cover those old labels or they could get like it transports to the wrong location because it could scan an old code. And you definitely don't, or they could write a code on here. Like sometimes you'll see the little stickers on it, and those are codes for where it's getting transported to. So you definitely want to be careful if you reuse boxes and make sure that they're fully covered. These are now 2 pounds, 9 ounces in the box, ready to go. I will measure this because it's not a standard box and it's going on eBay. It is 13, 11, 6. 13, 11, 6. Going down to Texas. That actually makes perfect sense for these little floral embroidered cowboy boots. Oh, and I already put in the pounds. So let's see what it's going to be. Ground Advantage is going to be 887. So that's really not so bad. Getting down to Texas. The Ground Advantage really allows you to have, most people are fine with maybe an extra day or two for delivery, but not paying. The priority on that one was 13 something. So, that's a pretty hefty price to ship your cowboy boots down to Texas. Now, I should mention those were kids size, children size 2. So that's why they fit in this box. They probably looked small to some of you. And the brand was Macy Bean, which I really had never heard of. But, I put in boho, floral, cowgirl boots, put in the size, sold very quickly. She's now ready to go. And now I'll share with you the screenshots and all the other information. What are we having for dinner? I don't know. I have so much left to do and so many things to run around. I'm running around from like 3 to 6 this afternoon for all of my kids' activities and practices and gyms and wherever they're going, which I love. I know one day I will miss and I will be bored. So I do try to embrace it, but it does take a big chunk out of my day. That's quite a few hours. So I was going to make mastacholi. I'm now wondering if I should make pizza. And we don't really do pizzas on Friday anymore because the schools do pizza on Friday. So I always feel bad. Do we cook a lot of good things? We sure do. But sometimes we have a pizza day. what we did yesterday. It was one of my favorite meals, and it's pretty healthy. It's like Mediterranean inspired chicken tacos on naan bread, Naan, like the soft pita bread. You know, we marinate chicken, we cut it into cubes, or we shred it. We put out all the different fixins, onion, cilantro, tomato, lettuce, tzatziki sauce, lime and lemon, you know, slices for a little citrus. One son likes salsa on it. Hey, you do you. Some cheese, feta cheese, and you make your own. You have that squishy non-bread pita, and then you put your meat and your tzatziki, a little cheese, and then you top it with your favorite, you know, I do lettuce, onion, cilantro, tomato. I do all the things. And I love a squeeze of lime on top. So good. My son, we also made some rice with it. My sons are athletes, and they do love like the chicken and rice combo. It's suggested a lot for kids who are consuming a lot of, they need to consume more calories because they're working so hard. You know, my one son, you guys have seen him. If you've been on one of my Whatnot shows, my sons do peek in every once in a while. My son is 6'3" and a linebacker. Like, you have to have something to fill his body up. And a lot of nutritionalists will say like rice and chicken are a good combo with that good vegetable. So my son, for his second helping, he's 13. He's hungry. He's growing. He just makes a bowl. So he'll put rice on the bottom. He'll put the chicken, the Mediterranean chicken on top, the cheese, the lettuce, salsa, the tzatziki sauce, cucumber sauce, whatever you do. And he'll do a bowl that way. And honestly, it's a really good option for them, and overall fairly healthy. Do we sometimes have pizza nights? Yes. And is that not the best? No, it's not. I will say I am trying to make a lot more healthy choices. What else do I have planned for the week? A boneless chicken thigh, like with a Chinese twist to it, like soy sauce, honey, Worcestershire, brown sugar, and then a little hot sauce in there. So like a sweet and tangy chicken with boneless chicken thighs. My husband loves chicken thighs. And that will also be with rice. So that will probably be like a Tuesday or Wednesday. But tonight might be pizza, you guys. It might be, because I need to finish up these Whatnot orders. I like to ship everything next day. So I'm not going to get everything out today. So I want to make sure I have enough time to get it all out. Anyways, stick for the clip of me on my Whatnot show live, getting a huge raid from Ginger Marvin. And then if you also want to stay for the screenshot, I'm going to share with you my screen of what sold of all of these items so you can see them close up. I love you all so much. I didn't see who it was from. I really, really do. Thank you. Love you. Who we got it from a raid? Ginger Marvin? Are you... What? No way. I'm going to blush. I am blushing. No way. I've been watching your channel for literally years. What in the heck? That just made like my whole day. I might faint. Y'all, if you don't know Ginger Marvin, what? Oh my, I'm not even joking. I just got goosebumps. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Ginger Marvin has a YouTube. She's now going on Whatnot. She says I was just reading, you love the Whatnot because you don't have to do the pictures and everything. I follow you, girl. Out in Colorado. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So y'all go like her. If you don't follow her YouTube channel, because I do have a YouTube channel too, but I'm nobody compared to Ginger Marvin. Nobody. Okay, friends, let's take a closer look at some of these sales from the weekend. This is my girl Eileen Fisher. You guys know I sell her brand quite a bit. Here is one of her logos, Eileen Fisher. This was more of a basic piece. Even though it was 100% silk, it was just a solid tank top. And I think that's why it didn't do as well as it could have. But the 2X definitely played a role as well, because I think if this was a size small, it probably would have sold for maybe $15 to $20 instead. Eileen Fisher, women's size 2X, 100% silk tank top. Here's these Lily Pulitzer pants. Again, not one of her more classic items. Look for, and Lily Pulitzer, if you want a more solid item from her, look for her brighter colors and bold prints in tops, tanks, or her shorts or bottoms. That's where you're really going to make some money. You know, these were just a basic pull-on brown pant, and they only sold for $11. These are those super cute boots. Obviously, you can see I took a lot of pictures. Here is the inside tag. The brand was Macy Bean. Cowgirl boots in a children's size 2. They were a square toe, but that gorgeous floral embroidery, I knew it was going to do well. You know, if the sole is falling off or something, then you don't want to get them. But a little bit of scuffs isn't a huge deal, as long as, like here you can see the scuffs, but the stitching and the sole is still good. If they were pulling apart, then there's not much life left to them. $29 plus shipping on these Macy Bean boots. Now this was another shocking sale. This was Ann Taylor Loft. These were a smaller size of a 27 or a 4P in a corduroy pant, which typically does better for me in fall and winter. So again, a little bit more of a surprising sale. I accepted an offer. Actually, they accepted the offer. I had them listed for $25, which is basically my bread and butter starting point. And the Nifty app sent out an offer, and they accepted for $23.25. I don't do a lot with Loft. I will be honest. I do some things on Whatnot with Loft. Perhaps this is noteworthy that maybe some of their bottoms do well. The curvy boot, and they did ask if it was high or low rise, and I told them it was not high rise. So I do think they were looking for more of a low or mid rise. Now this was a fantastic sale. My man, Peter Millar, pullover crown sport quarter zip pullover in a 3XL. This did very well. I had a lot of offers on it very quickly. The solds were in the $40 to $50 range. I started this at $59 with offers. I do, you know, accept offers, and I have coupons on a lot. So, or discount sales. So, you know, I always have a starting point, and then I leave a little room for those two factors. Any type of discount or coupon I'm offering, and then also the fact that I do allow offers on my items. And I accepted an offer for $45 plus shipping. I still love selling Peter Millar items. This was a performance quarter zip pullover, which is definitely one of their better items to sell. This is another brand I love selling. It always does well for me. The brand is Driftwood. These were those embroidered floral skinny jeans in a size 27. So even though these were skinny, the brand itself and the floral embroidery helped it do very well. Again, this was a fast mover. They sold for $30 on an offer plus shipping. Driftwood itself is absolutely a brand to keep an eye out for. This was that vintage Bad Kitty tee, the rocker, rock bag, punk rock. There is the tag for you. Obviously, it was made in the USA. It was a size large, but it was a vintage large. So I always do try to mention those things. You can see, obviously, I provided the measurements as well. Usually vintage sizing runs small compared to what it does today. I loved the graphic on this. I loved the lace up. The lace up is very popular with a couple different style aesthetics. You could go like in the goth route, or vampcore. They love lace ups. Also punk rock, rocker babe, also love lace ups as well. And you could even go into like the cowgirl aesthetic a little bit with some of these lace up pieces. That was a huge reason why I think this sold. I did accept an offer on this for $20 though, which is a little less than normal. Here's those Ralph Lauren pull on corduroy skinny pants. Again with the skinny, something for us to think about. There's that Ralph Lauren tag. Usually if it's made in Korea, Hong Kong, of course USA, it can be a Y2K or a vintage item. Pull on corduroy pant. I mean, I can't believe that these did so well. $20 plus shipping, mostly because they're corduroy and they were a smaller size. I thought, you know, maybe they would sit longer or they wouldn't sell until fall. This was one of the best sales from the weekend here. Here's the close-up tag for you. It's, you know, not a very big tag, but it is kind of substantial in the color tones and that like kind of flower. It almost gives me like a hippie vibe with that yellow and purple floral there. Nettle Studios, proudly made in San Francisco. Remember I said that there was not a lot of comps for this brand on eBay or sold. So it was a little bit of a risk. I did find the stock photo on their website. These pants sell for $150. So I put them up for $49 with a best offer available, and they literally sold overnight full price. So will I ever find this brand again? I'm not sure because there wasn't a lot listed or sold. So maybe it is more of a unique custom brand, and obviously it did very well. I mean, $49 overnight from an item I got at the bins is always a win. Now here are some of the items from that 4-piece bundle. I said that I profited $77 on these 4 items, and I think that is great. This is the company, the brand that I was not aware of when I picked it up, The White Company, but it was 100% merino wool, and it was a sweater dress. Comps honestly looked good. I had this listed for quite a bit more, as you can see here. But like I said, I was accepting offers. I am accepting offers, being open-minded, and trying to move things within reason. So at $100, I was saying each of these 4 pieces sold for $25. However, if you looked at like this item, it was listed at $25. So if I was accepting offers, you know, if you broke up the bundle a different way, being that they paid $100 for all 4 items, you could probably say that this one maybe sold for $35 and then this one was for $15. You know, however you want to break it up in your head when these bundles come in, because this was listed for $25. So would I have taken $15 or $20 in an offer scenario? Absolutely. This was 100% silk, which again was one of the selling points. This is a, you know, a great closet staple, classic minimalist capsule wardrobe, because it's a solid black blouse. You could kind of layer in a couple different ways. So that was a nice piece. They also picked up this J. Crew, which was 100% wool. And again, this J. Crew, you know, that's the full J. Crew tag. Now, sometimes they have a mercantile underneath here. They also could have some dots underneath here. That means it's from the factory. This is one of their better tags that you want to look out for. It's what I usually say is the real J. Crew. It's not a factory. It's not a mercantile. You know, they have a couple of different sub-brands. So this was, you know, worth. Again, I had it listed for $26. My Nifty app does reduce prices on these items when they do relist them. So again, I could say this sold for $20 and put another $5 over here to this White Company as far as the bundle price goes. However, this Ralph Lauren was a good one. This was a beautiful piece. Black Label Ralph Lauren. It's one of their highest priced brands. And this was silk. Beautiful hot pink color. I got this at the bins. Made in USA of Italian fabric. Black Label Ralph Lauren, definitely something you want to keep an eye out for. Really, all the Ralph Laurens do pretty well for me lately. And I've sold Ralph Lauren's for years and years and years. And again, this one, you know, break it up however you will. These 4 items sold for $100. This was at Eliza Starr 2-piece dress I picked up at the bins. I just thought for like spring, these colors are just right on point. This brand, though, is more of like a lower end, like boutique brand. So I sold this for $22 plus shipping. I don't think I will really pick it up a whole lot in the future. Maybe newer tags, maybe something for my whatnot. But for listing, it'll probably be a pass. But I mean, hey, $22 plus ship is still a decent sale. Now here's this J brand. I told you guys that I used to do very well in this brand years and years ago. These have been sitting. The brand itself and the size was 25, and it was a skinny leg. So you can see here, this one ended up for $9. This is a brand that I'm not going to do a whole lot with, and with maybe some exceptions for a new with tags, or possibly like an in-trend style, like a flare or a wide leg. This was that one of those swim pieces. Cacique is it from Avenue or is it from Lane Bryant? I think it's from oh gosh, now I feel like I'm gonna mess it up. Cacique is a intimates brand. It says Sophie Thielette, must have been a collab, but Cacique itself is a Lane Bryant intimates and swimwear brand that usually does very well for me. $18 plus ship isn't a bad bread and butter. I do like selling swimwear, so. And last but not least is this item I sourced off of Whatnot for $1. It is a PBR Professional Bull Riders shirt. It was new with tags. See, it says copyright 2005. You know, this is like cowgirl. I don't know. I think the PBR is still a thing. Do they still? I don't know. I put equestrian, horses, farm, girl, cowgirl, and country on this one for, you know, for keywords. And this sold for $29 plus shipping. I paid $1. So there you have it, my friends. Let me know if this was helpful. I've just started adding in this visual at the end of my Monday videos. If it's helpful, I would certainly love to help know that. Also, I know my girl Lisa and some of you have asked for me to bring back my weekday, my 5-day what sold videos as well. If you missed those or you think those would be helpful, that's when I go through my Monday through Friday sales. If that would be helpful too, I would love to know. I will, of course, be coming out with my February overview coming up soon. So keep a lookout for that as well. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I love y'all so much. Bye.